all is right in the world. The bloodline story is just as good as it's ever been. Seth Rollins retained his championship, and LA Knight is in the Money in the Bank match. So in today's video, we will be checking out Vince McMahon backstage big changes, Judgment Day split, Bray Wyatt WWE return, wrestling news. You know it's WrestleMania, and let's go ahead and do this. Be sure to share this video, like this video, and never forget.
What is going on, guys? It is WrestleMania here, back with another video. It's another big Raw with Seth Rollins defending his World Heavyweight Championship against Damian Priest and the WWE holding more Money in the Bank qualifiers. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of the Red Brand, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Vince McMahon backstage at Raw and made major changes.
Oh, he was backstage.
Return to WWE. Is the Judgment Day splitting up? An unlikely WWE wrestler getting a big push, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos.
Yeah, make sure y'all subscribe to them and this channel as well.
Also check out our new channel, WrestleMania Shorts. Now, as always, we won't recap the matches, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number one, a fresh tag title match.
I already know they about to talk about Kaden Carter and what's her name, Chance. When I tell you they looked so good, it felt so amazing to have a actual tag team in the women's division. That was amazing.
Kudos to the WWE for giving the fans a new team to challenge for the Women's Tag Team Championship. Now, we're still skeptical about the WWE choosing Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler as champions, but if they continue giving them fresh opponents like Kaden Carter and Katana Chance while making the challengers look good, it could help create some new tag teams and revive the division. The key will be avoiding the lazy booking where Rousey and Baszler destroy one team after another, ultimately losing the tag titles due to internal strife. Pairing a star of Ronda's level and Shayna, who is no stranger to the tag team gold, should be done to legitimize the titles and the contenders with any subsequent
It's exactly
being the
what I
secondary
said.
goal. Number two, KO versus Gunther goodness.
That's exactly what I said. If they put the belts on Ronda and Shayna and they legitimize the women's tag belts and stop just putting two random women together and actually have tag teams like these call-ups from NXT, Ronda and Shayna won the match technically because they retained. But that tag team, they won. They got main eyes on them now on the main roster, and they looked absolutely amazing. That was my favorite match.
Off when it comes to getting Imperium over on Raw. Gunther and his cronies have been in the spotlight since being drafted to Raw, and last night's bout between Kevin Owens and Gunther suggests fans should expect more of the same. The two put on a fantastic match, with Owens showing Gunther isn't invincible, at least one-on-one. Thanks to Imperium, Gunther got the Duke, and the fans saw a fantastic match with plenty of potential for a rematch down the road. Number three, it's good to have a world title back. Seth Rollins' first world title defense on TV was a breath of fresh air and an example of how to effectively...
Yo, that spot was crazy. That was a pay-per-view spot. The buckle bomb off the barricade. And if I remember correctly, I think they said this is what got Finn hurt the last time that this spot was taken. I think this is what hurt Finn, if I remember correctly.
Damian
Priest was a champ for taking that one.
Seth put over his opponent Damian Priest as well as the rest of the Judgment Day, while also helping to further developing story of the Archer of Infamy breaking away from the Judgment Day. First, Seth challenged Priest to work the match alone. Second, he shook Priest's hand after the match. Third, there was a subtle tension between Priest and Finn Balor after Balor broke his promise that he wouldn't interfere. As for the match itself, Seth and Damian wrestled a true main event level match, hopefully leaving fans wanting more.
They gave them plenty of time too.
Having
it was like
Seth
25-30 minutes
by defending it every week, and the Visionary finding himself facing lesser opponents. For now, we'll take the frequent title defenses, then having to wait months for you-know-who to defend his undisputed championship.
He who shall not be named.
Number 4, DOMINIK versus CODY promo. Dominik Mysterio is a fool and Cody is a babyface who doesn't suffer fools gladly. Throw in Raw's resident jerk The Miz, and you know last night's Miz TV was going to be good, especially when Dominik and Rhea Ripley showed up. Dominik set himself up for a verbal beatdown when he accused Cody of being a deadbeat dad, only for Rhodes to counter and say he's made a mistake, just like Dominik Mysterio.
That was a bar. That was a bar. He's like, you made a mistake, and I know your father made a mistake because I'm looking at one. Or he said something like that. But Cody be out here with Brandy and they baby, so I don't know what Dominik was talking about.
Is one of Ray's mistakes. Damn. Dom's cowardly slap and retreat behind Rhea Ripley was par for the course, but this one isn't over as it's clear Cody will be facing the Judgment Day soon. Number
Somebody
5,
get a beast to
Shea
Rhea.
could be a good team. The WWE is finally starting to round out
This just isn't working for me.
its men's tag division, although it could still benefit from a second tag title, and Shea could be a good addition. The team is booked as two juggernauts, something the WWE had
They
with
didn't
the
have to
Viking
job out
Raiders
Shelton like
until
that.
it jumped them into mediocrity. As we'll see in the news, there's good reason for the team's push. Number 6, Matt Riddle shows fire. Matt Riddle's comedy act can be funny, but it's good to see the Ultimate Bro show fire when he's had enough of a heel chicanery. Having Riddle lay out Imperium backstage after they interfered in the Owens vs Gunther match was a wise way to set things up for Riddle's inevitable clash with the General himself. And Ricochet vs Shinsuke is an instant classic. Ricochet vs Shinsuke Nakamura was an instant classic, and hopefully these two stars will get to lock up again besides at their upcoming men's Money in the Bank ladder match. The WWE has been pushing both wrestlers, and while the King of Strong Styles push seems stronger than Ricochet, Ricochet held his own. Now that was a good what about the bad, as number 1, Benjamin and Alexander, jobbers to the stars.
That's what I'm saying, man. Why are we doing this? Look, we get it. The Hurt Business didn't pan out the way that I guess Vince or whoever wanted it to. But come on, bro. You can't, like, you got put some respect on Shelton Benjamin's name. Like, he's the golden standard. He might not have the hair anymore, but he's the golden standard.
Shelton Benjamin and Cedric
I'll
Alexander.
never forget that HBK spot.
Demolishing them so badly in the ring that the match went to a no contest. If this doesn't
stupid.
confirm that WWE has no intention of reviving the Hurt Business, what evidence will suffice? It's time for the WWE to split these two up, as Cedric can do better on his own. As Jim Ross would say, Shelton is still a good hand, but nobody expects him to win many matches, let alone championship gold. Let Shelton and Cedric pursue their own paths, whatever they might be. Number 2, weak women's Money in the Bank qualifiers. Last night's women's Money in the Bank qualifiers wasn't so much of a case of showing how weak the women's division is, but how poorly it's been booked. It's doubtful anyone expected perennial jobber Sonya Deville to beat Becky Lynch, even with Chelsea Green helping Sonya. Much was the same with Natalya and Zoe Stark, as fans know Zoe is being pushed while Natalya's career is faring no better than Sonya's. They need to figure out a way to elevate some of its women's undercard so there's some semblance of suspense.
So we've been saying this on stream. If you don't tune into the live streams, every Monday and Friday, we have a sidecast for Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. The women need a mid-card belt and not just the tag team titles. If they can give the women's division a mid-card belt, build them up and make them formidable to go up against a Rhea, an Asuka, a Bianca, a Charlotte. Hell, even if you got to use Becky or Bayley right now and give them the mid-card title just to legitimize it and then build up these. Love what they're doing with Zoe. They're using a legend to build up new talent. But we can't keep getting into these endless cycles of just, hey, just take a bunch of women and throw them into a match. The women's division, there is on the horizon that they're taking more care and keep. Case in point, Zoe Stark. Us seeing the tag team champs take on Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. They're putting them in the right spotlight, and they're showing and proving too. So I love the fact that they're showing that the women's division can be better, but it's either you're all the way at the top of the card or you're just in obscurity. So we got to do something, man.
In who will emerge victorious? That wasn't the case though last night. And number 3, Bronson Reed's predictable interference. Bronson Reed's interference in the Shinsuke vs Ricochet match was predictable and a lazy way to try and get some momentum back for the powerhouse wrestler following his loss last week. The WWE has proven it's capable of clever booking, so it's time for the writers to put some effort into every segment and make them extra special. Now, there was nothing downright ugly, as the WWE had a fantastic main event, a banger between Gunther and Kevin Owens, more developments in what looks to be CODY vs Judgment Day program, the emergence of a dynamite young team of Caden and Katana, and obviously the build to Money in the Bank. What do you guys think of Raw this week? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news.
That's what we came for, y'all.
Now, first story looks at Vince McMahon was backstage at Raw and made major changes. Atop of today's news is Vince McMahon's presence at the 5th June Raw. Several sources are reporting that not only was Mr. McMahon present backstage, but that he worked a gorilla position. PW Insider reported Vince McMahon is backstage at Raw in Hartford, Connecticut.
It was in Hartford, of course he was.
To Stanford, this shouldn't be a shock. It's the first Raw since the day after WrestleMania McMahon has been personally in attendance for. For those wondering whether Vince worked his magic, well, Fightful Select noted Vince changed a significant part of the show just a couple of hours before the show.
True Vince McMahon
reportedly has been making changes to WWE TV remotely. But whatever changes McMahon made on last night's Raw was enjoyable compared to his post-WrestleMania train wreck show. Next up, Bray Wyatt returned.
Wait, so we don't know what the changes were? I don't know if I believe that. Because I'm trying to think of what happened on Raw last night that could have had Vince's hands on it, but nothing seemed too crazy unless it was like one of the backstage segments or something like that. But it couldn't have been unless creative or the storyline or whatever plan they already had was already solid from the foundation, and maybe Vince took something away or added something. I don't know why they made it seem like it was such a major change when nobody said what it was. But I would be interested because not all Vince's ideas are bad, but you gotta admit his batting average is not good right now.
Rumors. Is Bray Wyatt returning to WWE? Well, that's the case according to various reports that have come in. However, the real questions are when and will he be capacity Bray will be back. Let's look at a recent report from Paul Davis of Wrestling News. A new rumor has come up in recent days from a Twitter account that claims that the creative came to terms with Wyatt about a new storyline and that he has agreed to make it work despite not being fully satisfied. However, Davis brought up a recent report from Best Wrestling Experience which contradicts the report, claiming the rumor was complete BS and that Wyatt's storyline was scrapped the moment he felt he wasn't in it for Mania. There's no other story than the one agreed on post-Mania. BWE concluded by stating, "He's coming back but not pampered like you hinted." Vince McMahon's return could be a major factor in why Wyatt's storyline has gone on hold. While Wyatt is said to be out with an undisclosed medical issue, rumor has it that the WWE wants to bring back the Fiend, which seems like a major shift from Wyatt's vision of his character following his 2022 return at Extreme Rules.
So, man, all right, this is what I've said about the Fiend character and Bray Wyatt. I understand there's some emotional reasons, and then there's some other stuff that WWE, I think they did where like they destroyed the Fiend's mask or something like that. But this is what I said about the Fiend. People have to get out of their mind that Bray Wyatt is going to be the best wrestler. He can wrestle. He can make, he can go in the ring. It's not going to be a 5-star classic. He is meant to be an entertainer. He is there to give you stories, give you cinema. It didn't work in the very, very beginning because we were like, what the hell is going on with the Firefly Funhouse? I'm talking about you give him a couple months. Now, when we start hearing that little jingle from the kids show, I've been there where it's been dead silent and everybody's watching the Jumbotron. They're watching the TV, waiting to see what Bray has to say, which direction he's going to go in. That's his value. That's his value. Some people try to say, oh, Bray Wyatt's trash. No, imagine having your best idea taken away from you, destroyed, and changed into somebody else's image. Then you get booked into obscurity because you lose to Goldberg, have the worst Hell in a Cell match ever, and then you got to try to come back from that. And then once you get to Mania, was it 37, and he has his last match with Randy Orton, and some things got changed last minute. Imagine Stone Cold Steve Austin getting the rattlesnake gimmick changed and altered and taken away from him. Imagine The Rock having the Great One, that personality changed, that gimmick changed and taken away from him before it began to even get to like the stardom that they either could have reached, which I mean they did reach because shit didn't get changed. Imagine having that taken away from you and you got to go back to the drawing board. That's what, to me, through my eyes, that's what I'm seeing with Bray Wyatt. And that's why everybody wants The Fiend to come back, because it worked. They just booked him wrong.
Next up is the Judgment Day splitting up. Is the WWE going to split up one of its most popular factions? As noted in our analysis of Raw, the June 5th episode saw a trace of tension between Judgment Day members Finn Balor and Damian Priest,
that belt,
especially
man,
when Balor came to ringside to assist Priest
so
despite Damian asking him not to. And now some pundits and fans believe the WWE plans to break up the
one of my
popular
subs
heel
was
faction.
saying during the live stream, it was like,
possible, we believe
Damian
it's
Priest
more
was like, he
likely
about to
Damian
leave.
will turn babyface and go into singles action. They hinted to this after Raw went off the air, and Damian Priest shook Seth Rollins' hand. And you may recall reports that WWE is pleased with Priest's work, especially following his backlash bout against.
This, I said this on stream. Lord, I'm a prophet. I tell you. Puerto Rico changed. It was the turning point in Damian Priest. It was the turning point in his career on the main roster, because before he was U.S. champion, didn't seem like it went anywhere. He had his tag match with Bad Bunny at WrestleMania 37. But that Puerto Rico match, it was the perfect match at the perfect place at the perfect time. He was literally, he's been ready to go. But finding that one moment That Becky Lynch getting punched in the nose moment that can change your career. And now I think that people are starting to see, or maybe not even people, I think WWE is starting to see how much we like Damian Priest, how much Damian Priest can actually go. And to piggyback off of the match with him and Seth Rollins, him having more time, that match started around like 10, I want to say 10:30, 10:28, no, it was like 10:30 something, the early 10:30s. That means they had the remainder of the show to go. I noticed Seth Rollins pulling new tricks out of the bag. I noticed Damian Priest pulling tricks out of the bag, because you in the main event spotlight, because that was a main event championship match. Let's not forget. I know people try to make fun of that title, but let's not forget that was a championship main event match. Damian Priest showed that he can go in a main event spot. And I feel like now it's like, yes, you need to cash in on that.
Against Bad Bunny. Next up, Tony Khan has a big announcement for Collision. AEW's new Saturday show Collision is just
it's gonna
over
be
2
here.
weeks
I gotta
away,
get some
and
tickets.
Tony Khan will report
I gotta
make
get
a
some
big
tickets. It's gonna be
announcement
here.
concerning the debut
It's gonna be like
episode.
10 minutes from where I stay.
AEW tweeted, this Wednesday night, AEW Dynamite, AEW CEO and GM Tony Khan will announce the main event for the Saturday, June 17th premiere of AEW Collision.
I gotta get it.
There's already speculation whether CM Punk will be involved in the main event.
I gotta get it.
Whoever wrestles, let's hope AEW doesn't turn Saturday into another curtain jerker showcase like Rampage. Next up, unlikely WWE wrestlers getting a push. Indus has been crushing opponents in the ring, and apparently there's a good reason for
very
that
unlikely.
push. According to PW Insider's Mike Johnson, the company wants Indus positioned strongly as it built towards their return to India with a September live event. In addition, WrestleTalk notes that WWE is working harder than ever to grow its market in India. WWE has launched a brand new campaign in partnership with Sony Sports Network in the Indian market. Fans should keep an eye on Indus after the WWE's events in India to see whether the WWE is going to give them a short-term push to hype its India show, or whether it has a long-term push. And finally, Seth Rollins' Money in the Bank opponent revealed. It looks like WWE has Seth Rollins' opponent for Money in the Bank worked out, at least according to Best Wrestling Experience, which answered a Twitter user's question whether Seth will battle at Judgment Day's Finn Balor at Money in the Bank.
They gotta run it back.
Responding, clear as day. Balor and the Visionary have plenty of history together, with something that the WWE incorporated into this week's Raw when Rollins mocked Balor's title reign that only lasted a day. What you guys think of the upcoming match? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some...
W video, man. W video. That was great. I appreciate the recap of Monday Night Raw and the news, man. But they gotta run it back. I know they did run it back. But it wasn't for a title on the line. I would expect for that, if Roman is not in a championship match, which I don't know if he will or not, I would expect for that match to be the main event at Money in the Bank. It's a heavyweight championship, and if Roman is not gonna put up his belts, somebody got to. But appreciate all of y'all for watching. If you don't mind hitting that like button on your way out, man. Appreciate all of y'all for watching this video, man. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with anybody that you know that's a wrestling fan. And I will see you back in the ring. Peace.